Good afternoon, everyone. Today, the session is on MSME taking local to global. We are seeing the union government's initiatives of taking all the local businesses to global. At the same side, we have seen during the COVID time, it was a reverse trend from global to local. But the MSME definitely we need to go global uh, because our potential in the economy, the quality of our entrepreneurs, the product and everything. The app topic is MSME taking local to global. I take this opportunity to welcome each one of you at this webinar series, the fourth webinar on MSME organized by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Considering the growing importance of MSME and its compliances, your ICSI has rolled out a unique initiative, that is the MSME and Startup Catalyst, to create a brigade of professionals who may step forward and handhold the MSMEs, including the startups, in strengthening their governance framework. You have seen that various capacity building initiatives have been chalked out for the same, and you are kindly aware that the webinar series on these MSMEs is one of them. Comprising of this lecture series of 5 webinars being conducted on a weekly basis, covering all the substantial aspects relating to MSMEs, and series is guided by experts in the respective domain, and who have not only have the knowledge of the needs of these entities, but the practical first-hand experience and exposure in catering to them. So till date, 3 such webinars have already been conducted, garnering much appreciation and successful execution of all this. This fourth webinar of today is focused on the theme MSME taking local to global. Friends, it goes without saying that the micro, small and medium enterprises, that is MSMEs, are the backbone of our economy. And it is really a great interest subject for me because especially like a nation like ours, driving growth and innovation with an impressive presence of around 63 million enterprises in India in MSME sector. The MSME sector in India is also hold a substantial significant contribution to the country's GDP. It is more than 30%. 45% of its manufacturing output, 40% of its total exports. These businesses needs to thrive and expand their reach. It is the need of the hour, and for that, going beyond the local markets, beyond the national boundaries, and tap into the global arena is the need of the hour. To gain insights into transformative powers of MSMEs from local to global, I would like to welcome a renowned personality who is a company secretary also, doctorate also. So CS Dr. Pradeep Singh ji to share his perspective on the same. CS Dr. Pradeep Singh ji, I would take few moments to introduce you briefly. So please allow me. He is a member of our own institute, Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Dr. Pradeep Singh ji is a Chief Analytics Officer and Vice President at Invest India, which is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industries, Government of India. He is a PhD in Finance from IIM Ahmedabad, and he is much sought after faculty not only at our institute but IITs and IIMs, delivering lectures on blockchain and startup mindset. So, being a company secretary working with government of India and PhD from IIM and the interest areas like blockchain and startup mindset. So he was the perfect choice for us, the preferred choice for us for this local to global market. Friends, he ranked in the top 10 of all researchers on Social Science Research Network. He is a member of ICSI, MSME and Startup Board also. His achievements include supporting the state of government in their startup policy as a consultant and leading the Startup India initiative many a times. Sir, it is our extreme pleasure to have you today among us, and we thank you for your great contribution towards the development of MSMEs and startup. and thus overall Indian economy. And I'm sure today's audience, the delegates who are attending from on their respective offices or their screens, would get immensely benefited with the deliberations which we would be having today. So over to you, sir. I welcome you all on behalf of ICSI. So please take the sessions.
Thank you. Pavan ji, एक बात बताओ. So the company secretaries attending, they are from NIRC or they could be pan India? Like, what's the audience?
They are pan India, sir, not only NIRC. Okay. So across India, all the professionals are attending from means pan India basis.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for the kind introduction. I think I'm just a really happy, lucky, and proud member of the ICSI family. I've been working in this space for a while now, and I keep asking my CS brothers, CA brothers to continue to orient themselves towards MSMEs as well as towards startups, because it's just very useful to look at a high volume sort of a game, right? Especially because as professionals, because we are able to automate a lot of things, whereas we can create once and sell multiple times, which is opposite of an MSME. An MSME has to create multiple times to sell once or sell multiple times. आप एक बार बना के उसको बहुत बार बेच सकते हैं. मान लीजिए अगर आपके पास एक टेक्सटाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग या फैब्रिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, डाइंग, टेक्सटाइल डाइंग का एक MSME का एक डेक बना हुआ है, तो उस एक डेक में आप सारे कंप्लायंसेस, सारे रेगुलेशंस, इंटरनल ऑडिट की चीजें सब डाल के आप जितने मर्जी MSMEs को उस पर टारगेट कर सकते हैं. आपका मार्जिनल कॉस्ट फॉर टारगेटिंग ईच MSME will be extremely low, but for the MSME you will be a godsend, right? So most of my presentation is going to be things that we as professionals can communicate to our MSMEs, and I have a presentation on the side. It'll be much more useful if all of you keep asking questions, try to interrupt, do whatever. I would really like to also learn from my own shortcomings there. So pehle to सीधा why should we move global, right? And I'm guessing a number of you will have some or the other idea around this, why we should move global, what are the things. In one word, opportunity. Like, just amazing amount of opportunity. If we only sell in India, if we only service India, we are letting go of roughly 75 to 80% of the rest of the world, right? So which means as an MSME, we have 5 times the market that we are letting go of if we remain restricted. And on that note, there is this wonderful ad by MS Dhoni. He looks at some store and he says, "Oh, so Vadodara Sports Goods." So the shop owner says, "No, this is India Sports Goods." Dhoni says, "But you are selling only in Vadodara. So then you are Vadodara Sports Goods." So the advertisement is, of course, pertaining to, e-commerce marketplace, right? But it drives home a very significant message. All of us would want to target the market that is 1.4 billion people, right? And a lot of our MSMEs are not at that place right now. A lot of our MSMEs are not even on e-commerce right now, right? So I think as company secretaries, as professionals, one of the first things that we need to think of is, can we improve the market for our smaller clients, right? And recently I was having a discussion with a BCG partner from London, and कुछ हमारी बात हुई, तो he said कि so I said, तुम लोग पैसे बहुत ज़्यादा लोगे, you will charge a fair bit of money for what you're proposing to do. And he replied with कि अगर मैं 2 करोड़ लूंगा तो मैं 10 करोड़ का धंधा लेके आऊंगा तुम्हारे लिए. If I am able to add value worth 10 crores, only then will I claim my 2 crores worth of fee, right? So there is a mindset shift in terms of how we as professionals think of ourselves and our business relationships. Are we providing a off-the-shelf service that okay, I will do this GST filing for you, and now you can go home. I charge X rupees for GST filing. I don't care what your business is. I don't care if you are earning X, if you're earning 20X, 50X. No, it has to be in a way that you feel you are partners with them. And the smaller folks, and partner not always means equity. In startups that might work out. But when you're looking at a smaller client, a traditional business, a MSME client, non-startup client, a partnership might not necessarily mean that you're part of their profits, but it will mean that you are helping them gain. And what do you get in return? A client that is happy, a client that spreads the word. You will get to learn a lot, and your business will inevitably grow. मतलब इसमें दो राय नहीं है, right? So why go global? I think a lot of you are already into. I'm guessing some of you are also holding that masters in commerce from IGNU with import-export procedures. So I'm guessing a lot of you already are aware of that entire bit, right? I've been interacting with MSMEs. I thought इससे पहले कि आप लोग ऐसे क्वेश्चन में पूछो, मैं एम्बैरस हूँ क्योंकि मेरे पास जवाब नहीं हो, या जवाब हो मुझे पता नहीं हो कैसे बोलना है. So I'll tell you why a lot of people say to me that they don't want to go global, or they are not going global, right? So they'll say, क्या बनाना है, कैसे पता चलेगा, कौन से देश में करना है, किस देश में किसको बेचना है, क्वालिटी का कैसे करेंगे, पैसे का क्या होगा, this, that, and all those things, right? I haven't written the money part because I am guessing LC was one of the components in, I think, level 2 of CS, executive program. I'm not sure what the new names are, but second level mein, there used to be a component of internal trade. So I'm guessing a lot of us are fairly well versed with that. I thought if I can give you some skill around the first one or two things based on my limited knowledge, I think that might be of a little more use here. Okay. So this is a table. I'm hoping my screen is visible for everyone. So this is a list of top 5 commodities, not products. International trade na HS code पे चलता है, 8-digit HS code होता है. The first 2 digits are the chapter. Entire 8-digit is the specific product. 4-digit is the category commodity of sorts, and 6-digit is so 8-digit is the SKU, and 6-digit is the product level. So in case of, let's say, LCD TVs, the 6-digit will say LCD TV, and the 8-digit will say, okay, LCD TV of this length, of this diameter, of this radius, of this diagonal, 15 inch, 50 inch, 60 inch, ऐसे भी करके, right? So that's how it goes. So this is not at 8-digit, this is at 4-digit, right? And these are exports from India to Indonesia in USD million for, as it says, 2023 and 21-22, which means the previous year and the year that we just closed a couple of months back, right? And it mentions percentage change. This is just the list of top 5. There can be many such lists and other things also here. Wood pulp, paper pulp, जिसको HS code 47 chapter number में जो आता है, grew by more than 100%, right? If you have an MSME that is working on, let's say, corrugated boxes, Amazon का जिसमें packaging में आता है, that brown color boxes, right? I think you should definitely tell them, why don't you look at Indonesia as a market? Aircraft वाले MSME कम होते हैं, so I am not so sure. Machinery and electrical, chapter number 84 and 85. And this could be, something very small. This could be mechanical fasteners. This could be somebody making plastic for syringes, right? Something very small, right? If these products are growing and you know of a market where they are growing, right, it would really add a lot of value in your relationship for the MSME and genuinely for the country if they knew where that thing is. If you remember, I don't know what it's called, beginner level now or what, but first level CS, we used to have basic economics, right? And it said that, there are efficient markets and there are inefficient markets. And the thing about efficient markets was that there is 100% information, right? I think one of the things that our MSMEs, हमारे लघु उद्योग, हमारे छोटे खादी उद्योग, खादी ग्राम उद्योग हमारे जो उनको नहीं मिल पाता है, is good analysis, is good data, is good filtered, pure information, right? And all of you people on the call are really lucky that, you can devote some time towards growing your own mental faculty, towards learning something. So this is one thing that I really wanted you all to take away, कि क्या हम इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड डेटा को उनको दे सकते हैं, इससे डिराइव करके insights. Could we share these insights with our smaller clients who might be interested in any of these things, right? I was thinking, what if we could all get country-wise, commodity-wise, year-wise products that have gone up, gone down, and we get this for every country in the world that India is having a trade relationship with, right? And there is UN trade, there is Comtrade, there is TradeStat, there is also the Indian Import-Export Data Bank, right? I'll probably just share my screen and we could do this together. Just give me a moment. I'll just reshare my screen and just allow me a moment. Okay, I'm hoping my screen is visible.
Yes.
Great. So Export Import Data Bank, I've just searched for it. This is the first link that comes up, right? And you actually get these trade figures on an annual, on a monthly basis. You get a dashboard also, right? It's a DGCIS dashboard, Government of India. This is available free of cost, 8-digit level for everybody, right? In case some of you are really occupied, in case some of you don't have the time or mental space or bandwidth, the Invest India website also gives this. I work for Invest India, so yes, I am biased in that sense. investindia.gov.in/data team. I'll just put it on the chat also in case somebody is interested to go here, check it out, right? This gives you bilateral trade reports for every economy that India has trade relationships with, right? And I have Indonesia open here. This was the table that I had shown to you. The entire report has chapter-wise, sector-wise products, commodities, SKUs, stock keeping units that have gone up, that have gone down, for which India is overly dependent on Indonesia, for which Indonesia is overly dependent on India, that have gone through the roof in the past 2 quarters, that have decreased in the past 2 quarters, like plastic, rubber, and wood. They've seen a significant decrease in terms of import from Indonesia, right? Which means if your manufacturer is making these, is manufacturing these, then people who were earlier importing might actually be switching to either domestic or to other international buyers. Now, if somebody is on the market to find another supplier, अगर ये मतलब 470 है, 419 है, so at least 50 million worth of plastic and rubber is on the market looking for a better supplier, right? Then those are opportunities that you can give to your clients, right? And these reports are, of course, free of cost. You don't even have to log in, create something. But these are things that will help you gain that sort of advantage in the market, that will help your MSME clients gain that sort of an advantage. These are now the annexures. So this is more detailed in every chapter. What is the entire thing like, right? And you create an advantage and you help with market asymmetry being brought down in favor of Indians, right? So in whooping cough, this is vaccine for whooping cough. So imports from Indonesia make up 100%, right? So if tomorrow somebody comes to you and says कि यार medical में पैसा लगाना है, बताओ कहाँ जाएं? Is there an opportunity in healthcare segment that I can target? Then then this is not a bad idea. We are 100% dependent on Indonesia. We can create a single vaccine for whooping cough, or this is semi-finished products of stainless steel of rectangular cross section, right? Indonesia is supplying this almost worth $1 billion to us. Why can't we tell some of our MSMEs who are into, let's say, making utensils, making surgical instruments, why don't you create this? India is dependent almost like the only country that we import this from is Indonesia. Why can't we substitute that, right? So these are just some opportunities I wanted to run by you. That was my first thing, how we can use data to create an advantage for ourselves in the bigger international market. If there are any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll go back to my presentation. Allow me a moment. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first part. Now in this entire bit, there are a few things that are important. The one that I really like to talk about always is trust. Historically, wars have only been fought between neighbors. 95% of the world's wars have been fought between two people who knew each other. Surprisingly, 100% of the world's trade has only been between two people who knew each other. Which means we might fight with a stranger, but we will never trade with a stranger. And this has deep implications. If you plan to buy or sell something, right, will you trust a website that you don't know of? When you buy from Amazon, you don't know the seller, but Amazon is taking the counterparty risk. Amazon, Flipkart, whatever, right? That e-commerce platform is taking the counterparty risk, right? Now it becomes very important that howsoever you facilitate that international trade, you need to build that confidence, that trust between the parties. I am a little biased towards exporting, so I will keep it to that, your client would sell to somebody abroad, right? The newer age startups have beautiful websites. They've got good looking professional websites. They've got great social media presence, but your MSMEs don't. There's something very strange actually happening here. Your micro enterprises are great at selling on Instagram and WhatsApp. You want a phone cover, you can order a phone cover on WhatsApp. If you're looking for, let's say, just a Fulkari chunni, you can really get that off Instagram. Just allow me a moment. Yeah, you can get that off Instagram. But are medium and micro enterprise, medium and small enterprises also that savvy? No. A lot of our enterprises probably have one dead looking web page that was updated when the website was made. Now the company has outgrown, the data therein is old. It shows as last updated 2014. The grammar will probably be wrong. The contact details will probably be wrong. The person jiska phone number hoga has probably left the company 5-7 years ago. He's now working for a competitor. Even if somebody were to come to the website, will that sort of social media presence ever inspire trust? And if you want, you can take a moment to think of, I'm guessing some of you are also practicing company secretaries, right? Are your websites up to date? Are your websites good? Are your websites such that they would inspire trust? Or are you still getting business from friends of friends of friends, and an uncle whose friend you are and a friend whose uncle you are? Right? This is something that we all should think of, how to build our own personal brands and how to advise our MSME clients to build their personal brands just through these simple things. A website costs what, 10,000 rupees? Social media presence doesn't even cost that. It costs about an hour, maybe an hour or two every week, right? And you spend much more than that on social media, but just not on your own personal business handles, right? Second is reference letters and common contacts. Reference letters, we don't have a habit of taking those. And we think, of course, he's there. Whenever I call him, he'll be there, she'll be there. In case of international trade, in case of bidding for government orders, in case for any public RFP also, any private company can also do an RFP, right? You will need these things, right? Of course, take a moment to reflect on whether you as professionals have these, and then look at whether your clients have these, right? These are things that you can advise your clients for. Common contacts, if you have to get into business with me, you should really look for an Anand, a Mukta, a Rima, a Sahib, or anybody else who attended some sort of lecture series with me, some training with me, who's a friend of mine, who went to the same college as I did, who was with me at KPMG or some other place, right? That's the only way two parties who don't know each other would be able to come to a common ground to have that trade, right? बिना उसके trade नहीं होगा. A network is important, but blindly sending people requests on LinkedIn is not going to create a network. You know why? Let's say you've sent me you've sent me a request and I don't actually know you. And tomorrow Pavanji says, I want to really work with Sudha. Can you vouch for her? I'll be like, yeah, I actually don't know Sudha. It will make sense when you're doing these contacts to keep in touch, to ensure that there is a brief about you, to keep the other person posted. Don't spam them, but keep them posted, as applicable to all of us as to our smaller clients. Published reports, yeah. Your MSMEs, the people you are working with, for whom you do your annual audits, your filings and everything, are those reports on their website? Are those reports available for any business looking to do trade with them, any business looking to do business with them? Are your annual reports worth it? That, if you were to show that annual report to, let's say, a Reliance, would Reliance say, this seems like a decent chap, this seems like a decent business, I want to associate with them? How do you think somebody sitting in Ireland is going to take a call on whether or not to get into a partnership? And not just partnership, yeah. Think of, maybe you're just selling them glasses, right? How are they going to decide ki, will I be buying glasses from this person through a ship that is going to come in? And LC is just one part. You will need to showcase your presence, right? Tax document, other compliances. How do you create good records for this? How do you present this data well? How do you make this available to everyone, whereas still protecting your clients and your own privacy? And finally, form of organization. I cannot emphasize this enough. Recently there was somebody in my family who said that, we had 2 or 3 deals and we were really looking forward to closing them, but yeah, they just didn't work out, right? And I helped them a bit. Not that I'm really smart at this, but I helped them a bit, and I realized that they were running a unregistered partnership. And I was like, whose PAN card is it? He's like, we are 3 friends. It is one of our PAN cards. I'm like, then you're practically running a sole proprietorship. Who in the world is going to trust a sole proprietorship? As much as how the world should be, I'm sure you all have your opinions. Nobody trusts a private person. People trust a private limited company. Great if you are a public limited company, right? If you are getting into international trade, you need a form of organization that is verifiable. You could go to MCA and you can just check all my company details. If I'm lying or if I am being untrue, you can see my compliance status. You can see about my directors, right? So the form of organization for whosoever your client is very important. I don't recommend partnerships as much as I recommend private limited companies. The most I recommend is, of course, public limited company. Ask yourselves this: who do you trust the most? Listed company, public company, private limited company, or OPC, right? I'm hoping most of you trust the listed company a lot more, right? And that's how people in the world are. In the absence of abundant knowledge, you go with whatever little you have, and you have a hierarchy in your head that you're working with. So I think these are great things that you can advise your clients for. These are things that we can advise ourselves for, and how they move forward. This, of course, doesn't apply as much to professional firms because, a CA firm will most likely be a partnership. That's a different sort of a problem. But for your manufacturers, for your service providers, form of organization is very important. This is my favorite. Take a moment and let me know if you understood what's happening here. Okay, so this is a cigarette packet, and what they've done is they've tried to package it in a way that the teeth of that lady keep reducing as somebody continues to consume those cigarettes, right? Does it promote cigarette smoking? I don't know, but the packaging is really nice, right? I don't smoke, I don't condone smoking, but it is a packaging idea. I think the weakest aspect of our small, medium, and micro enterprises is packaging. The weakest is packaging. I'll give you one more fun example. So these are squirrels, Chip and Dale. I don't know how many of you, I'm guessing a lot of you would be my generation, you would remember Chip and Dale. So basically, they've packed walnuts in a way that it seems like Chip and Dale are actually having them. Right? I've sourced these images from the internet. I haven't created them. Right? And I love to say this. Everybody has a nice phone, right? And your phone would have come in a nice box, right? I am very sure if there are, let's say, 50 people on the call, at least 45 plus of us would have this phone box stored in one or the other cupboard. और बाकी 5 में से 2 का गुम गया होगा, नहीं तो उन्होंने भी रखना तो होगा, right? 45 of us will have that box of that phone stored. Even if our phone is 18K, 20K, that box will be stored somewhere, right? Have you all ever bought a pashmina stole? You know, pashmina shawl, stole jo aati hai pashmina. It can be for 50K, 80K. They will give it to you wrapped in a newspaper, right? How often do you use your phone? Every day, 24/7? It sleeps with you, wakes up with you, goes out with you, comes back with you, right? How often do you use a pashmina shawl? In the winters, when you're going out, that's it. At home, you probably, fold it and keep it in the cupboard. Something for which you will use the packaging. Something for which you will use the packaging is actually not there. And something that just occupies space and is the scorn of Indian parents that, why do you have all these old boxes in your cupboard? We are willing to look at those boxes better, right? Why can't our MSME based products also have good packaging, right? They, of course, offer protection because, if you have to transport, let's say, kiwis that India is good at, Arunachal Pradesh has kiwis, you need to package them in a way that when in the truck, the last ones are not squished. So the packaging will provide some sort of product protection. It increases shelf life. And the second is as a good marketing tool. I gave you 2 examples of marketing tools, right? We need to start thinking of packaging. On a side note, I know a lot of you will not like it when I say it, but I am from the same family. I face the same problems. So I can tell you, as company secretaries, we are very, very strong with our compliances. If I were to ask any of you right now, yeah, section 295 kya hota hai? I will get 2 answers from everybody. आधे लोग बताएंगे, मतलब सब लोग बताएंगे कि भाई 295 पुराने कंपनीज एक्ट में was this, नए वाले में is this. I am not so aware. I don't know what these are honestly, right? But I am sure a number of my friends will probably tell me कि पुराने में ये था, नए में ये था, right? And I can bet on it that a number of you will give me 100% accurate, 50% useful answer, right? We as company secretaries are also not great at packaging our knowledge and our information. I've gone through an MBA, I've gone through a CS, I've done some bit of CA also. I can tell you the amount of knowledge that a CS has is much more. Honestly, as a PhD, I probably know less than what I knew as a company secretary. It is very different, but it is just packaged in this grand way that we are able to. So, as I mentioned before, this is as much applicable to all of us as it is to our small, micro, and medium clients. Please make sure that you communicate these ideas well to your clients. Any questions still here, Pawanji? Or should we continue and then we'll take the questions later?
Please continue, sir.
Sure,
Please.
sure. Okay. This is more on realize your value. I've talked about MSMEs, and a lot of us think of MSMEs as people with a small setup, 50 crore type ka, with machines doing something or the other. I thought I should talk a little bit about even smaller clients that work with artisans. I work for one district, one product, so a lot of my project constituency is around artisans, so I can't stop talking about it. But I also wanted to talk about handmade products versus mass-produced products. As much as we all want a shirt without any thread that comes out of it, as much as we would want a brand that is known in the world very well, a lot of people in a higher income group, if we all are here, then people in the higher income group are very, very crazy about handmade goods. I was talking to this one person from Aditya Birla Group. There are these stores called Jaipur, Jaypore, right? So the Khan market may be high. I'm sure they have other stores. Aditya Birla Group ka hai. And this person was telling me कि somebody who buys a 20,000 rupee stole, let's say stole or chunni or whatever, right? He's like, this person will have a lot of problem when it bleeds. Bleed is jab kapda rang chhodta hai. It's called bleeding, right? So when this cloth bleeds, they have a lot of problem. If somebody buys the same thing for 2,20,000, then they will say, oh wow, these are organic colors. Oh wow, this is sustainable. Oh wow, this is handmade. The difference that comes in how you market it is, oh, this is not standardized versus, oh, this is unique, right? And if you or your clients are into handmade stuff, please make sure that your positioning is per se a lot more relevant to what your client segment is. And segmenting, targeting, positioning, basics of marketing, you all know this probably better than I do, but I think this is some place where our MSMEs are not good. They have never gone through the amount of education that you and I were fortunate enough to have, actually fortunate enough to pass. But it is very important that you give them this. You tell them that, if this product is costly, then it has to be positioned as a luxury product. And if this product is cheap, then it has to be positioned as a mass market reliable product. Are you positioning uniqueness or are you positioning standardization, right? And you need to be giving this out to your MSME clients. Quality, major point. You need to ensure quality. I remember we were in Davos this year for the World Economic Forum, and in one of our display sections, we had kept a Bastar tribal art. So Bastar is this district in Chhattisgarh, and bale metal karke hota hai. Usse they use hammers and they create very small, simple figurines, right? And we had kept just a Bastar handicraft. It was just, I think, a person standing with a partner, and that's it, right? And there were people who came for that Davos thing. They were just seeing, and they were like, wow, this must be worth $300. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, yes, of course, these are worth $300. The artisans in Bastar are selling those for about 50 rupees. 50 rupees, right? And people in Europe are willing to buy those for $300. That is what? 400 times the price or something like that? Around that, something. It is just crazy the amount of appreciation that Europe has for handmade products. It is just crazy. If you have an MSME that is making handmade products, no matter what it is, even if they are not making, if they are resellers, if they are stockists, traders, wholesalers, please expose them to the opportunity of international trade in these products, right? Certifications mean a lot more. We always keep thinking that we have to comply with the bare minimum number of certifications required. But just as company secretaryship was not a required certification, but today, because we all have it, we all have a stature in society, and we all have a means of earning our daily living, certifications mean a lot more to handmade products. I don't know how many of you know, but there is this new chocolate called Tony's. It's available widely in US and Europe. The only thing Tony's says is no child labor was used in making of this chocolate. So every year, I think about 2 lakh or 3 lakh children are used in harvesting cocoa, right? Tony's doesn't taste well. Tony's is also not standardized blocks. Like, Cadbury would have very standardized blocks. Each cube will be the same size and everything. Tony's does not have the standard sizes. I didn't like the taste. Maybe some people like the taste, right? It also has egg. Indians are a little difficult with that, right? They are able to sell their chocolates at a premium. Major events have a partnership with them just because they are clear that they are not using child labor, right? A lot of our products, you will need a phytosanitary clearance, you will need some sort of pesticide free clearance, you might need organic certifications, right? But the certifications that are not just for compliance and for custom control and border security, like fair trade, right? Like child labor free, right? These are really, really important certifications. And these certifications make a lot of difference to your MSMEs whenever they are out in the market. Because a product that says organic, fair trade, child labor free is easily going to sell for 1.5 to 2x times a product that is just organic, right? So this is something that is worth investing in. And these are mostly done through social audits. There is a small cost component, but the bigger challenge, bigger hurdle in this entire bit is how do you put across this information to other people that, this is how you get this certification. This is why this certification is important. And these are the benefits that you will get. And you as professionals will have to build this case. Yeah. Expecting an MSME to be so aware, then you're probably looking at a second generation MSME, and they probably then need you only for basic compliances. Give me a moment. Okay, support. There were two things in support that I had. One is government. I work for the government. So one is there are a lot of schemes available online. There is market access initiative. There is trade seminars. There is ITPO, promotion of trade. There is skilling grants. There are ITIs. A lot of schemes are available. Some that directly give you money. Some give you loans. Some give you money at subsidized prices. Some give you support in kind. Some give you opportunities. Some give you exposure. And a lot of them also give you an option to sell to the government at some point, which is GEM registration, government e-marketplace registration. That's the only way how the government buys anything, right? And you are the only people who are going to tell your MSMEs about this, right? There is the national single window, which I'm hoping a lot of you are aware of. We've been working with the institute for that. That's something that Ministry of Commerce and Industry has been pioneering. We've got about 29 central ministries and about 30 states and union territories already on board. I understand some of you are feeling कि अगर इतना ही आसान हो जाएगा तो प्रोफेशनल की जरूरत क्या रहेगी. I will not get into those arguments with you right now. But understand that your value has to be beyond compliance. I honestly think that as company secretaries, the next 5-year motto should be beyond compliance. We have way too much knowledge to be just looking at compliance. And my last section, actually my next section will also talk about why we should look at beyond compliance. I'll just make a note also, right? Be in touch with your export promotion council, with your collector, with your district industry center. Every district in the country, 762 districts before, Rajasthan added 17. All 762 districts had a district industry center. Rajasthan has added 17 more. So that's 779. I think the next 17 will be coming up. But unless you are there, please be in touch with these people. They are government designated physical spaces with the presence of officers that are present to understand your grievance, to give you some sort of support and opportunity where you can ask your queries. And this is also an interface between you and the government. If multiple people in multiple DICs go and say, we are facing this problem, the government will hear this and then be able to do something about it, right? As much as you all might think कि नहीं कोई कुछ नहीं करेगा, कोई कुछ नहीं करता, I can tell you from the government side, there is a very strong push to enable all sorts of businesses to grow and prosper, right? It is important for the government that the economy grows, and you are the economy. Your MSMEs are the economy, right? So it's important that you are in touch with the people who have to hear these problems. right? Just telling your friend, your uncle, your aunt, your cousin, or just cribbing with your business partner about this will not solve anything. If you want a solution, please be in touch with these people. These are just some of the people that I can think of. You probably know much more than I do. Industry associations, I'm happy that a lot of businesses are part of some or the other small, minor, big industry association. Industry association memberships help a lot. So let's say if the government has to know whether regulation A is good or bad, it is very hard to expect the government to actually go to each person, ask each person, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? That's like a census-based exercise, right? It will be easier for them to talk to representatives. And industry associations have representatives, and they are also funded by central government a lot of times, sometimes state governments also, right? So your membership in these associations will be useful to you and your MSMEs, right? I mentioned the single window ease of doing business platforms. As much as you think something is not right or there are still bugs in the system, I strongly urge you to use these systems. If you think there are bugs, please let me know. Please let the website know. There is a contact us form in the end. If there is a bug, please report that bug. We would be more than happy. Nobody sets out to create a platform by saying, I hope nobody in the world uses this platform and everybody has a problem with this, right? Everybody wants their platform to be usable. And the amount of hard work that goes in, bandwidth that goes in, trust me, this is something that's important, right? The second thing is that you should also leverage friends, family to support small businesses. American Express has this wonderful thing where it is, if you buy, I think, something from these small businesses around you, then I think they give you something or they give something to the small business, you get extra points, something like that they have, right? So there are many bigger organizations really trying to support small businesses. I don't know if you remember, there was a Cadbury ad of jewelers and other things who wanted to localize it and then give an ad that actually said that, if you are based out of Shaktinagar, then Tribhuvan Das Bhimji Zaveri in Shaktinagar is where you should buy this from, right? So it was like a hyper local AI experiment. Be on the lookout for small partnerships that your clients can get into, that you can get into a lot of times to support your clients, right? Just give me a moment. Okay, technology. So this is my favorite and a major dreaded part, I am very sure. Uh, so right from the first time we had technology to today, when we have AI, there will be people who will say no, right? Are you the ones saying no? Or are you as professionals at the cutting edge of this tech to ensure that your businesses are able to leverage this to make them truly global enterprises? Which side are you on? Because the AI revolution is happening. Are you on the train or are you not? It's as simple as that. I thought we'll just ask a few questions of us. Do we know of artificial intelligence? Something beyond your Siri, Cortana, Alexa? Do we know of artificial intelligence? Do we know that there is ChatGPT, Bing, Bard, Midjourney, DALL-E, Stability Diffusion, Adobe Generative AI, and 10,000 other tools? Do we know of these tools? Have we ever used some of these tools? Have we leveraged these tools? Have we used these tools for our business? Right? These are just some use cases that I thought would be fun for you and your MSME clients as well. You can use it to design, you can use it to make your websites better, you can use it to generate ideas, you can use it to understand, so as MSMEs, you are all facing, your clients are facing a similar set of problems. Let's say there are a total of 20 problems. Each client is facing a 20C5 set of problems, right? Now, some of these problems have been solved for some markets, right? it is hard for any one of us to be aware of that, right? But we can simply leverage AI for that business, right? And now maybe I'll just show you a small demo. Let me just share my screen again. This is the part that I had mentioned, why I think that as company secretaries, we should think beyond compliance. Just let me know when my screen is visible. Yeah, I am hoping my screen is visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Let me just take this up, right? I'm just using ChatGPT Plus. This is a simple thing. Can you draft a board resolution empowering Director A to open a bank account and conduct all transactions? This might not be 100% reliable, but I'm just telling you that these are things that are happening, right? You've got a format. You've got a format here. We haven't told it about the withdrawal, transfer, bank services and other things. मतलब उसने अपनी तरफ से भी बहुत सारी चीजें डाल दी हैं, and the bank is instructed all of this based on this. I did this in front of you. I honestly didn't expect it to be this good, but yeah, it has done that. Is hereby authorized to communicate, do all act deeds. There is no background. It is able to do this, right? As compliance professionals, we need to be very, very clear about what is it that a simple knowledge-based algorithm can and cannot do. Just give me a moment. Yeah, that it can and cannot do, right? And this is just one thing. Tell me the 10 things that you do for your clients, right? Maybe if you give it that, these are the 5-7 income points, can you tell me the best way to save tax based on these 20 provisions? It could do that for you. You could, let me just see if I can do that for you. Wait. If you want to generate better content for a website, it could totally do that for you. And it is something that your clients can also get to do. Let me just add Canva as a plugin and say maybe, can you design a social media post for a shoe manufacturing company in India trying to attract international clients? Let's hope it works. Otherwise, we'll probably give it another shot. Right. I think it started by asking us, if you like a particular template, you let us know. And then they will try to convert those templates into something or the other that we can give content to. Well, it started, is there a template you want? What is the sort of content? And we can tell it. Can you give us the content? Right. So while this is going on, it is really, really important that you realize your value. You have information, you have context, and you have relationship. Anybody can have these 5-7 tools that I showed you, but can you connect all these together and create that value for your client? That is the important part, right? I'm just completing this for the sake of propriety. So they've given us some ideas also that, these are things that you could put in a post, right? So if you are actually considerate about your MSME clients, then these are things that you can do, right? And your thinking can now actually go hand in hand with AI. right? And it's something that's worth looking at. I would really urge all of my professional brethren to look at these things, right? uh just a closing remark, Pavanji, then we can decide. I really believe in that all of us, all of our micro, small, medium enterprises need to start thinking big, and that is when we become big, right? Really important. We need to know that we are not just a compliance mechanism, we are professionals trained to help a business run. Yeah, right. A secretary in Government of India is somebody who runs an entire department. A company secretary, you and I, are people who should be able to drive the country's economy. We are really envisaged as that. You can drop me a line at on Twitter or LinkedIn. The link that I had shared with you for international trade reports is here, and I strongly urge you to start using artificial intelligence. Thank you so much, Pawanji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Actually, you opened up the mind, not only the MSME, but how to grab the opportunity for the MSME, how to serve them. What we are lacking basically in terms of technology and knowledge, which we should acquire, looking at the fast changing the technologies atmosphere in India and across globe, including AI and all those things, and those small things, uh, how to use AI, what commands should give, because in AI, even though you have ChatGPT, what command you are giving is very important. Sir, I have few questions to ask you before we conclude formally. There are few questions which are being asked by the delegates. More than 12,000 delegates are attending this webinar right now. So, question first: limited access to our knowledge of appropriate technology hampers innovation, value addition, and packaging is preventing MSMEs from meeting importers' quality standards and establishing a suitable design and image in the export market. How do we deal with these challenges?
Fair point. आप नाम बताएंगे किसका है? मतलब it's just easier to address.
Actually, I am not getting.
That's okay. That's fine. It's just a thing, right? So good question. So tell me if I've understood the question correctly. You're saying a lot of MSMEs don't have access to technology, because of which they cannot fulfill importers' specifications and requirements. And how do we solve this problem?
Correct.
Great.
Also, the image of the export market, design and image in the export market.
Sure. There is no shortcut to building a brand, right? There is a shortcut, however, to showcasing what you can do, right? And that is where, as a professional, you're supposed to help. So let's say somebody wants to create a diary. I don't know if it's visible, a simple diary, right? Now, this simple diary, I can either produce once and share a sample, or I can get the entire specs of a good diary, the machines that make this, the people who make this, the end outcome, who can certify this. I should be willing to say hire, I don't know, some corporate professionals or somebody, right, to audit the quality and certification of my diary, right? If as a professional, I am able to inspire that trust, I might not get the order in the next 3 months, but I have a shot at getting an order in the next 1 year, right? So if you can give a tech rendition, if you can give a roadmap, if you can give somebody who's willing to put their hand up for quality, that, I am going to certify this quality, that might be a way for your MSME to actually reach there. Second, smaller point, the MSME department has a number of technology upgradation schemes. Those might be very useful to some of your MSMEs, especially if there is an importer who wants a particular specification. It is going to be very important to leverage those schemes with us. Yeah, Pavanji, go on. Second question should be taken.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you. Digital transformation is the key element of modern business. How can the smaller enterprises utilize the same for their benefit?
नहीं, I didn't get it. एक बार दोबारा बोलो, sorry.
It is how can a smaller enterprises utilize the digital transformation, which is a key for modern business.
Yeah, I shared some of that. I think online, use AI, use a lot of free tools. UPI has enabled e-commerce transactions. Get on board to all e-commerce platforms. ONDC now, you don't even have to get onboarded to multiple places. Just get onboarded to ONDC. Using a lot of these small innovations that have enabled the Indian ecosystem. I think those will be great. If there is a specific question, I might be able to answer that. नहीं तो मुझे इसमें शायद I am unsure of what I could answer.
Okay, no issue, sir. The similar, I could say that it is an extension of the earlier question. However, the same does not seem easy for the MSMEs or the smallest enterprises in deeper rural areas. So, how can it be that issue be resolved? Because I also personally believe that rural India have more potential than the urban India, and those people are lacking basically in hand holding and projecting themselves in a global market.
Yeah, I think this is a wonderful question. So I understand that rural area might have some challenges with regard to technology, some challenges with regard to availability of skilled labor, but in terms of electricity, in terms of internet coverage, I think we are much better. We are much better off than before. And over time, the sort of cost benefits that you can create out of the talent pool that you already have, I think that will then be your strength. We'll have to figure out how we leverage that part the most. You can actually get access to the best scientists who want to be in a place that is away from the hullabaloo of the city, where you get mind space. So R&D might be great there. Ecosystem purity might be great there. And leveraging e-commerce is amazing, because now you also have India Post, which covers practically all of the country with their 6 lakh post offices. Except for some very small regions, you have India Post, where e-commerce is actually enabled. So you have to then be selling much more if you are selling from far away.
Okay. Understood. Sir, that ramp rising and accelerating MSMEs program, performance program, basically government initiative which has more than outlay of 6,000 crores. And what is it all about, and how can MSMEs benefit from the same?
मैंने स्कीम के बारे में recently पढ़ा नहीं है, sorry.
Okay, no issues. Sir, recently Government of India has also set up export facilitation centers for MSMEs. What is the purpose of such centers?
बिल्कुल सही. So आप ये माने कि आप एक चीज का उत्पाद करते हैं. You produce any one product, any one commodity, right? Starting from, and let's just take any example. Let's say you make a mouse, right? You make a mouse, right? Starting from which countries need a mouse, what sort of mouse do they need, what sort of machines you might require, what sort of licenses you will require, import, export code, this clearance, which ports you can approach, which CSCS, CWA you can approach, which banks you can approach for LCs, the entire bit, which are the upcoming opportunities for, computer hardware trade. This entire information, along with facilitation and handholding, will be provided by the Export Facilitation Center for you. So some export facilitation centers have a list of products for which they are equipped, and some are very open. ये आपको अपने specific उस पे देखना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा होगा. But you walk in with a product, like the vision is, you walk in with a product, you walk out with an export order.
Okay. So that is a one-stop shop for the export felicitation. Great. Sir, that Udyam registration portal, which is hardly 31 months old portal, already more than 15 million MSMEs have registered on it. So the corporatization seems to be the key for the future of the MSMEs, basically. So what benefits do these entities stand to gain from these registrations, and how they be motivated to get it themselves registered on the Udyam registration portal?
So सबसे पहला तो ये कि सरकार के संज्ञान में आना बहुत जरूरी है. It is very important that the government knows how many people in what place in the country are producing what, for better policy making. Second, a lot of government initiatives then come through an SMS on your phone that this is happening, that is happening, that. Third, which is the core benefit part, in a lot of government tenders, You then get access to bidding without prior experience. You get access to bidding without EMDs. You get some relaxation is in environmental laws. You then also get covered by the MSME Act for delay in payments, the
Right.
Samadhan portal, right?
Right.
So you get access to a lot of these things. You get access to information, and government also gets to know what is happening. So I'll give you an example. So we realized that India has very few glove makers, राइट ग्लव मेकर्स इतने सारे नहीं है जो क्वालिटी ग्लव बनाए गोल्फ ग्लव्स जैसे हो गए या टेक्निकल टेक्सटाइल के ग्लव्स हैं तो ऑल द पीपल हु हैड रजिस्टर्ड वर रीच्ड आउट एंड दे सेड व्हाट आर यू डूइंग विद दिस हाउ आर यू डूइंग इट व्हाट डू यू नीड टू एक्सपैंड so that made it easier for the government to reach out to these people and to understand directly from them what they need. So if you are not registered, it becomes very hard for anybody to reach out to you.
Okay. Okay. Sir, your question has given me another question to ask. Basically, you are already working for various state governments and also in the ministry directly. So, can you give the Mula Mantra or the what to expect for the company secretaries in terms of opportunities in startup policy and MSMEs, if you can?
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned before, I think beyond compliance. मतलब if we are only going to be looking at compliance, and there are so many systems now. In fact, हमारी ICSI की magazine के last page पे they have this board compliance software का ad, right? There are so many systems now that if you are going to be just a knowledge repository, you will become redundant very soon. What you have to do now is to connect that knowledge and create insight, create actionable insight, create value. What you have to do now is that you have knowledge and you have network. So all of us are so much better connected that if I know somebody who makes, let's say, plastic bristles, I know somebody who imports rubber pellets, I know somebody who makes toothbrush, I connect all three of them and they're able to supply to the toothbrush person. So we all have network, we all have knowledge, but we need to connect the dots and go one step beyond. We have to say, this is what this might mean in the future. This is where there is an opportunity. This is why we can't do this. So our management angle will now be coming forth. This is, of course, based on my conjecture. But I think as key drivers of the economy, there is a very strong flavor for all professionals, CS, CWS, CS, all three.
Correct. Great, sir. Sir, nowadays that equality between the men and women is always talked about. So I have seen the data basically, and which says around 25% of the entrepreneurs are women, and still there is a gap. Means the loop-sided ratio for the men versus women. So what could be the reason for that, and what we as a company secretary can do something in this?
Yeah, so अगर आप देखें ना तो there is a very strong social reason for this to happen. Do we expect our sisters, wives, and mothers to stay late at office? Not as employers, as family persons. Do I expect my mother, my sister, my wife to be late at office? And conversely, does my mother think that I should be staying late at office? Or how will that be? As long as our social expectation of parity of household chores will not be equal, it will not be fair to expect that the office outcome is also equal. Till we increase our paternity leaves, we will always keep it lopsided. Till we don't ensure that we respect the work day as being 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever that is. If we say, nahi yaar, stretch kar lo, and we all are very hungry for growth, stretch kar lo. What we are doing is we are penalizing somebody who cannot stretch. And if you make the job as 9 to 9, then that is at least a more honest approach. So I think as company secretaries, one, we should encourage doing things by the book. Second, a lot of our organizations don't have the mandatory crèche facility. You need to have a daycare and a crèche facility if you have 50 or employees or more, 50 women, something like that. You all would know better, right? I think as company secretaries, it's very important for us to do that. As company secretaries, we are privy to board conversations. When they're looking for the next COO, when they're looking for the next head of vertical, we should definitely put in a point to weigh in whether this will send the right gender parity message or not. If you think you don't have any, let's say, a T-3 position, we don't have women, or we don't have women at T-2 position, then you as company secretary need to say, because you are also custodian of all of HR, you need to say that T-3 women need to be trained for becoming leaders in the next 5 years. Because otherwise we are facing a problem there, right? So you are the only ones with this knowledge, with this sensitivity, with the access to the decision makers. So I think to bring about any corporate change, company secretary is the best positioned person. क्योंकि अगर आपने बोल दिया कि ये नहीं होगा, तो then nobody is arguing with you. People argue with the CEO. People argue with the chairman. Nobody argues with the company secretary. At max they'll say, अच्छा penalty कितना है वो बता दो. So I think our position is really important there.
Correct, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, two flags basically from professional fraternity kind of things from to the government. So that trade is not working speedily as promised, correct? And another is that those 45 days payment to MSME enterprises is not happening correctly. And the company secretaries are made to file that MSME forms, but actually there is no action on those defaulting people. So what is the government's mindset, and will it be taken rigorously followed about that compliances? Because we as a company secretary are really pushing our client, pushing the other professionals who are involved, like chartered accountants who are finalizing the audit reports and everything. But the government's mindset, we are not able to judge right now.
So I'm guessing you would have also heard that, a lot of talk recently has been on MSME payments. Right. I think that becomes a very important thing. At the same time, trade discounting, trade bill discounting, trade financing has come up in a major way. So एक चीज जो government ने बड़ी strongly करी है, GEM पे, if you have not paid an MSME in 45 days, you cannot place your next order.
Right.
So government departments will have to fulfill payment, otherwise it will not go through. Right. Second, there is also the TREADS platform. TREADS is the receivable discounting platform. So all PSUs and government are part of that. I think beyond that, we'll still have to come up with more creative solutions. Stricter enforcement is of course one option. Is that the best option? I am a little unsure of that. We are open to more creative answers on this. Of course, CS, CSs are best positioned for this. We'd be more than happy to hear this.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We would definitely do something. You are also part of MSME board. So we will give that work to the MSME board only to come up with the representation and hand it over to the government. Sir, today's webinar was really a great eye-opener for all of us. The participants were increasing like anything, and right now I got a message that it has crossed more than 13,000 online participants from India. Sir, the technology part of it, the opening part of it, the motivation to the company secretaries to expand. I would say you are representing Invest India. I think CS needs to represent Expand India, so that we can venture into various other things by exploring the new professional avenues which are knocking at our doors, and we have to open the doors now. So it was really eye-opening session, sir. And I would say one of the best session on MSMEs till now. And we're really thankful to you. You being so busy, you found the time, you explain everything, be it concept, be it the government perspective and the requirements from our side. And thanks for listening to our suggestion also about the trades and 45 days payments and MSME compliances. So we really thank you on behalf of ICSI. We are proud of you, sir. You are representing ICSI at government level, ministry level, and many more such success stories we wish to build as ICSI. And we thank you once again for sparing your time, giving your knowledge and motivating our fellow company secretaries in the field of understanding the MSME and also inspiring. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you so much, Pawan.